I'm Edward Otozelki, and let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Florida legislator will introduce ban on pride flags that will stop city and county LGBTQ+ support. Florida LGBTQ+ advocates are sounding the alarm as state lawmakers revive efforts to restrict the display of pride flags on government property. The proposal marks the fourth attempt as many years, but supporters of equality say this version goes even further. Over the summer, Governor Jon DeSantis ordered the removal of rainbow crosswalks and street murals across the state. Actions Equality Florida calls, quote, blatant government overreach meant to erase symbols of our history, our resilience, and our visibility, end quote. State Representative David Barrero and Senator Clay Yarborough filed the new bill for the 2026 session, which would bar state and local buildings from displaying any flag representing race, gender, or sexual orientation, effectively banning the pride flag. At the same time, it allows flags of historical significance. A category that advocates note includes Confederate flags. The legislation also seeks to limit the ability of cities and counties to design their own flags. Jon Harris Maurer, Public Policy Director for Equality Florida, emphasized the importance of pride symbols as markers of safety and community. He noted that last year, a wave of public opposition helped defeat similar bills. Equality Florida is urging residents to contact lawmakers ahead of the legislative session beginning in January. You know, this is something that really resonates with me. I remember when I was first vacationing as a young man here in Florida, and I was coming to Wilton Manors, and I thought, this is such a great community because, you know, they have all of like the representations of making me feel safe. You know, when I first went there, I was like, wow, they actually have pride flags out. And wow, they actually have all these businesses, all like in Wilton Manors, all on one street. And it just, when I was young, it just made me feel safe. It made me feel seen. And I felt like I could walk the streets at like 20 years old and not have to worry about my safety. And I think that's really what it's resonating for young people these days, is that they're trying to find spaces in cities where they can be themselves.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's a shame because they took down the crosswalks saying those are a distraction, and the statistics don't show that. But also too, now they're taking down flags. What's a flag hurting? I mean, what's the reasoning for that? And for city and counties not to have their own flags, people are proud of where they live, and we're proud to live in Milton Manors, so we should be able to show that proudness.
Yeah, it makes me think of, years from now when these legislators look back at their legacy and they talk about, what did they fight for and what did they stand for? Mm-hmm. All they're going to have to talk about is that they wrote legislation to break down crosswalks and to take down flags, mm-hmm. when they should be addressing homelessness and food mm-hmm. insecurity and the concerns of their constituency.
Exactly. The pride flag is not a political statement for us. It's really a visual cue of safety for us.
Yeah.
It is a place of inclusivity, whether you be a straight ally, whether you be any spectrum of the LGBT rainbow. And to me, it really is disturbing that when the state removes these symbols, the message that it sends is, like we said, one of erasure. And what is that saying? It's saying you do not belong. Mm-hmm. And so I like what you had to say when you talked about how the pride flag really welcomed you into Wilton Manors, welcomed you into Fort Lauderdale, because that's what it is. It's a welcoming symbol all over the world.
Yeah. And the one thing that always resonates with me is safety, and for all communities, because I hear it from the non-LGBTQ+ community as well. When they see the pride flag, they think that they can be safe there, which I think is an incredible thing. Mm-hmm. There's no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.